everybody. Made it to my seat just in time to go live with you. My name is Meg and welcome to Making It with Meg. Today we are going to be making a Halloween wreath for under $10. All of the items that I purchased for this project were from a local dollar store. And I'm sure you guys can find similar things at dollar stores around you. So I kind of don't know exactly what I'm gonna do yet, but I have an idea in my head, like most of us crafters do when we start a project. So I want to give it a shot, but I wanted to go live and show you guys that everybody runs into challenges when crafting, not to let yourselves down about it and just keep going, because sometimes it turns out into something really cool that you never expected it to be. So like I said, today we're making a Halloween wreath. I bought everything at the dollar store except for one item that I had laying around the house. I got the wreath form. I got 3 of these child-size boas that are kind of Halloween themed, and they have a little bit of orange foiling in there, and I think that'll add a little pop on my front door. I also got a skull. I'm not 100% sure we're gonna use him yet. If we do use him, I don't know that we'll use all of him, but I liked him. I thought it was a good buy. And then the next thing we have, I got a bag of 125 different shape googly eyes. I hope you guys can see this. I hope my light's not messing it up for you, but so they're all different sizes. There's big ones, there's little ones, and we're just gonna kind of pop them on there with our glue gun and see how that goes. And then the final item I got from the dollar store was these eyeball lights. I took them out of the package already, and I put the I put the batteries in there so that it was all set to go on the wreath when we're ready. But honestly, I don't know that I'm gonna use these because they were a little bigger than I thought they were gonna be when I took them out of the package. And I just don't know that they're gonna fit because this is a fairly small wreath form. So we'll give it a shot, we'll see what happens. That's the fun of crafting. So there's one more thing I have, but it's not from the dollar store, just so you guys know. Some Halloween wreath. I had some little skeleton, wreath, Halloween ribbon. I had some black skeleton ribbon left, so I figured that'd be nice to use to actually hang the wreath on the door with from the top here. You guys can use any ribbon. They sell ribbon at the dollar store as well, so pick some up. Anything will go fine. It doesn't have to be Halloween themed. It could be black, it could be orange, it could be green, purple, whatever you're into. It would all work out. Then the last thing here is I have my hot glue gun and it's all ready to go. It's hot, don't touch it. And it's falling over because I don't have a glue gun stand, which I hope to actually make on one of my lives one day, but we'll see what happens. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is wrap the wreath form with my boas that I have here. So while you do this, the one thing that I can absolutely guarantee, because it happened to me the entire way from the store to my car, to my house, to my room, and there were just feathers everywhere. So it's gonna happen, get over it, clean it up, it's not a big deal, and maybe you could save some of the feathers if they come off nicely for another project. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is get the end of one of my boas, and I'm gonna place it with some hot glue onto my wreath form. I'm gonna put a good amount of glue there because this is a starting piece. I don't want it to come off. It has this really cool little thumb holders on it, so I'm gonna use that to press it down on there first. And then you're just gonna wait just a minute or two, not a minute or two, 10, 20 seconds, because none of us wait that long like we're supposed to, and then we're gonna begin wrapping. We just wanna make sure that that's tacky, it's holding it down well enough. We're gonna wrap over that piece, so it shouldn't be a problem if it's not fully stuck at this point. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull our boa through. We're gonna loop it over that thumb loop that was there, and we're gonna press it down. This glue is hot, so be careful. Please don't burn yourself. You can get a safety glue gun if you need it. I have some friends who need it. No shame in that. Okay, so then we're just gonna keep wrapping this boa. We're gonna loop it over and then pull it through and loop it over. Pull it through, loop it over. It's always these parts of the projects that I find to be the most therapeutic, I guess you could say, because you're just kind of stuck in your zone and you're doing something repetitive and you have time to just relax and get into your project and not think about life. And that is something that I love so, so much about crafting. Okay, so I have my first boa wrapped around. As you can see, it's about 1/3 of the way, which is great. I probably should have got a 4th boa now that I'm looking at this, but we're gonna find out. I guess I'll stretch it out a little bit just to make sure. Still that none of the green is showing, but we'll make sure we're getting our maximum space from the feathers on this boa. And we can always go and tape in whatever feathers, glue in whatever feathers are coming off as we go along our wreath. So once I get to the end of that, I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get my glue gun, I'm gonna take the thumb hole here, and I'm gonna glue it down to my wreath form. Just want a good amount of glue because we want everything to be nice and solid when we're done. Okay, and then we're gonna get our next boa while I'm holding this down. You can blow on it, maybe that'll make it cool off faster. Okay, so I'll get my next boa. Again, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna grab the thumb end here. I got some feathers on me. Woo! I'm gonna grab the thumb end and I'm gonna glue it on right next to where we just glued on, where we glued down the end of our first boa. Okay. Here we go. Again, we're gonna hold that there 10 to 20 seconds just to make sure it's holding on. And then we're gonna wrap it over that section so that you can't see it. And then we're gonna continue to wrap this boa. Okay, so we go over and then we pull it through, over and pull it through. It's a very simple process. I feel like this is something you could do with your kids. I do not have any children of my own right now, but I know a lot of people with kids and I feel like they would love this. Wow, this really filled up a whole bunch of it. I'm surprised. That's great. It'll be nice and feathery. Okay, so again, we're at the end and we're gonna repeat our process. A lot of crafting has a lot of repetitive steps in it, but you get such a good result by making things over and over and over again. By the time you get to the end, you're a pro, and if you want to do that project again, it's probably going to come out even better than it did the first time. So, all right, we're gluing the thumb down, and we're going to hold it there just for a couple of seconds, make sure it's nice and tacky, and then we'll wrap our 3rd boa and see where we're going to go from there, since we're not 100% sure yet. All right, our final boa. There's a bunch of feathers, but I don't think it's that bad. It's probably hard to see because it's black on black, but I think you guys can see them. All right, so a little more glue here. And we'll put our thumb loop down. Hold it for a couple seconds. I'm interested to see what kind of Halloween projects that you guys are into. I'm always looking for stuff to try. This I just kind of came up with walking around the store. I knew I wanted to craft today. I just wanted to hang out and relax. I'm off, I don't have to work. So I wanted to fill up my time a little bit in the morning since I have something to do this afternoon, and like this just looked like it'd be quick and simple and something that would look really cute on my front door. But what do you guys do? Do you go online? Do you go on Pinterest? Do you watch other YouTube DIYers? You know, how do you figure out what project you want to do next? Do you make them up yourself? If you make them up yourself, let me know. I want to know what you guys are doing. That would be great. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this last one here and go through and over. Go through and over. Pull through and over. Through and over. This is a great way to wrap a wreath because the feathers take up so much space. I don't know if you guys have ever made a yarn wrapped wreath, which I love doing. It's so relaxing, but it can take hours at times. So this is definitely pretty awesome that it does this so quickly. All right, now I'm on my last one. Woo, it lost the end. Where are you? There it is. All right, so I guess leave a little of the green showing. I'm gonna push it over a little bit. I know this is my last wrap that I have to do, and then find the space where you glued your first thumbnail down and glue it right next to that. And then we can kind of push it over and make sure all the green's covered, and we'll put some extra hot glue in there to make sure we've covered all of our bases with that. Okay. I'm gonna make this kind of long just because I want to make sure the loop is down completely. The longer your hot glue gun is on, the hotter your glue is going to get, so be so careful. I mean, eventually it'll stop getting hot, but. Okay, now we're gonna just kind of massage our boas around to make sure none of our form is showing. And then we're gonna put a little bit of safety glue. This looks really cute, you guys. It really does. Okay, then we're gonna put a little bit of like safety glue, what I'm gonna call, in different spaces to make sure that the boa doesn't move that much in between the ends of it. We just wanna make sure we avoid that. So what you're gonna do is clear out the feathers, find a spot in between, put a little bit of hot glue down, just a dab. Ooh, it gets all over the feathers. It's okay, we can hide it. And put it down and kind of smoosh your feathers to cover the glue you just put there. And then we're gonna do that a couple more times around here. Again, just to make sure that our boa doesn't move too much. It's gonna be on your door, it's gonna be moving around. Eventually it might not look as good as it used to because of the weather and things like that, but this is just a nice little backup to help it stay nice for longer than you would have expected. Okay, all right, I think we're good. Maybe just one more over here where you see the green poking out. If you see green poking out anywhere, definitely try and just work the boa out in that area. You can fluff the feathers up a little if you have to, whatever you need to do. Maybe buy a fourth one, or if you can get the spot so it's only on one side, you can cheat and just hang it up like that. Doesn't need to look good on both sides, you guys. You have to keep that in mind when it comes to making a wreath. It can look bad on the other side, or not bad, but not your best. We'll say it like that, and it doesn't matter. All right, I feel like I have a green spot here, so I'm just taking the feathers that fell off and hot gluing them to that area. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna move on. Should we do the skull first, or should we do the eyes first? Should we do just the googly eyes? Should we do just the skull? Should we do just the skull and the lights? I don't know. Let's take a look and see what we want to do. Ooh, he looks cozy in there. He kind of fits perfectly. I'm pretty sure I want to use him. Now let's check out him with our lights, okay? So these are also from the dollar store. It came with 6 different bulbs on it. They're kind of like little ping pong balls with eyes drawn on them, but they're perfect for this, honestly. So let's see if it'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the battery pack there, and I'm gonna do the same thing that I did making the wreath. We're gonna go over and around and see how far we can get with this guy. All right. I don't know. No, you can't wrap it. That's not gonna work. A lot of the lights are coming out on the other side. But we could, see, this is when I need to make a decision, because we could just glue the eyeballs in there. The wire will kind of be hidden because it's black, and so is our boa. And we could have them facing all different ways, and we could have little Mr. Skullhead there. Let's just, I know everything's not gonna stay and the eyes aren't facing up, it's not how we want, but I'm just gonna put the skull in there to see how it would look. And I think that's gonna look really good. So I'm gonna save these googly eyes for another project. I have more googly eyes here if I need them, so we'll get something done with that on another day. But this is what I'm gonna go with for now. Okay, so I'm gonna put Mr. Skull here to the side. And put our lights to the side. I need Mr. Skull back. This is the fun of crafting. You just don't know what you're doing half the time. All right, so I want to put him, I'm going to put him on first, because then I'll know where I want the lights to go around his head. So I'm just going to pick a spot, and I'm gonna put his little head, and the best part is he's kind of curved, so he can sit down a little bit with just his little skull in there. It fits perfectly. So you just pick a spot, and I'm gonna put the glue onto the skull, and then I'll just hold it onto the wreath form until it's tight on there. I'm gonna put a lot of glue. Don't worry, I have more glue sticks, because I want to make sure he doesn't fall off. Of course, in the middle of something that's hard to put down. Feathers everywhere, you guys. There's feathers flying around this room. They're stuck all over my glue gun. But I love the way that feathers look on a wreath. It just makes it look so full, and it cuts your work time down. And I like that. Because I like crafting, but we don't really have time for it in our lives, you know? Everybody is running around, working, going crazy, doing a million things. So it's nice when you have the time to just sit down and craft, but it's nice to be able to finish your project as well if you can't dedicate a whole bunch of time to it. All right, so I actually have a little bit of green showing on the bottom here, so that's where I'm gonna put Mr. Skull. And I'm just gonna put him in there like that. I'm gonna put him on the table though, just so I can hold them tight. I'll hang them off the table actually. All right. Is he on there good? No, he's not. You see that? Yeah. He's stuck only to the feathers, so that was kind of silly of me. I have to, I think, clear the feathers out of the way a little bit, put the hot glue right on the wreath form, and go from there. Because he's got to stick to that form, because these feathers aren't all completely stuck down, so they're going to move around, even though he probably weighs less than a pound. Way less than a pound. All right, let's try this again. Put Mr. Scully on our wreath form. I just want to make sure he is centered. Let's see. All right, I'm just gonna go in there. He needs more hot glue, and I'm gonna have to hold him for a minute, which is my least favorite part. Extra time you didn't expect. All right, so we're gonna use almost a full stick of hot glue to get him on there. All right. I'm looking. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold him here for a minute until he tightens up onto this wreath. I want to move him around a lot. I hope this will work. I'm kind of getting a little nervous now. Does that happen to you guys? You're doing a project and like you hit a point like you think everything's gonna go great, and then you just get to like this step that for some reason you can't figure out, and you're just worried it's not gonna work, or sometimes you just abandon the project altogether. But I really don't want to do that today, and I don't think I have to. Ooh, he's staying there. There we go. He's a little wobbly, but I think once he dries off a bit and gets super solid on there, he should be fine. All right, now we're gonna put the lights on. I'm just gonna turn this around so you guys can see Mr. Scully. But he's not falling down anymore, which is great. Even though he's not 100% straight, his head is still wobbly a bit, but it's not doing what it did before, so that's great. All right, so now we are going to put our lights, our eyeball lights. Okay, put them kind of sporadically. It's actually gonna fit around this wreath perfect, the length of lights that I have. So that worked out really well. And I do think it'd be a little too much with the other eyeball. So I'm gonna turn him back around towards me just so I can see where I wanna put these guys. And I'm gonna start gluing them down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go on the opposite side of the eyeball with my glue gun. It doesn't have to be perfect. That'll be the fun of this wreath, is that the googly eyes will kind of be a little crooked each way. Now just look for your wreath form as we learned with Mr. Scully, and make sure you get your glue onto the wreath form. Okay, hold them there a second, and then we can move on to our next one, which I'm gonna kind of put a little to the side. And I wouldn't worry that much about the wires. I wouldn't worry about the wires sticking out because there's so many feathers and we can kind of glue them down if we're careful and they're not turned on at the time. Okay, so I'm gonna put my next one here. Again, I'll put the glue on the other side of the eyeball and glue it down to the form itself and not the feathers. I'm sure the feathers will get stuck under there, but you just want it mostly under the form if you can. Okay. Just pick off your little strings if you get any there from your hot glue. And once it feels like it's not going to go anywhere, you can move on to the next one. Okay. Find your form first, because you don't want to go to put your googly eye down and then you find out it's on a place that we've already glued onto our form. So I guess it's worked out well that I didn't do a lot of safety glue spots, because I do need to massage these around or it's gonna come off like we learned. I should have known that. Why would I think that movable feathers would have held on to that well? So, but you live and you learn, and that's the fun of crafting, and you make a mistake and you can apply that to your next project and live and learn, as they say. All right, so we're gonna glue down number 4. I need another glue stick. You always need more glue sticks than you think you're gonna need. At least that's what I find for myself. So here we go. I like to keep them close by. And I actually keep the drawer of this desk filled with like random things that I may need while making different crafts, so I don't have to go running around the house and looking for stuff that I need at the time of my project and not be able to finish my project because I spent half the time being unorganized. So many strings, but you can get them off. Now they're stuck to me. Put them in the garbage. Okay, we're gonna go to light number 5, and then we'll have our last light, and all we'll have to do is put our door hanger on, and this will be done. See how long it took? I don't think it's gonna take that long. I'm kind of far from my camera, and that's where my clock is, so I can't really see the amount of time that this has taken me so far, but I don't think it's that long. What does that say? 28 minutes? 26 minutes? I don't know. Either way, this is gonna be done in under an hour, and that's awesome. All right, our final light, we're just gonna put close to Mr. Skull there. Okay. Get our glue. Glue guns always get so messy while I'm using them. Do they get messy when you guys use them? Or is it just me that's a slob with their glue gun? All right, let's get that on there. Let it set. Okay. Okay. So I just see another little hole here that I'm gonna fill. Make sure the feathers stay there. They don't stray too far from that spot. Okay, and now I'm just gonna take the battery pack and loop it through behind Mr. Scully's head. Okay. I'll probably end up gluing it back there, but not right now. I want to let everything here dry first. So this is how it looks with the eyeballs on. And we're gonna turn the lights. Ooh, can you see the difference? I don't know if you guys can. I'll turn the light off at the end of this live, and I'll show you what it looks like with the lights on, what a difference it actually makes. But right now, I'm just gonna leave the battery pack sticking out from behind, and I'm going to try my best to hide these wires. I don't want to glue them down. I don't think you can see them that much. I don't think it's that big of a deal. We'll just kind of pull the feathers through them to kind of camouflage them a bit. They are black wires with black feathers, so that really works out to our benefit. The wires kind of splits, if you guys can see this. So I'm pulling it apart, and then I'm just pulling some feathers through and popping it back down, and that is making it all but disappear. It's working really well, actually. I'm surprised. I didn't know that would work so well. Like, you could still see it, but it's definitely fairly hidden, which is awesome. All right, just get down here where we looped them through. Okay, wow guys, I think this came out really, really cute. Some of the eyeballs are like hiding a bit, they're deeper, some of them are on the side kind of. I mean, they're still you know, fairly symmetrical, but not quite, which is nice. Now I am going to make my ribbon hanger. So what you're gonna need for this is a scissor. That's the only thing that I did not think of ahead of time, but thanks to my trusty craft draw, I had it available for me. And we're gonna take our Halloween ribbon, about 20 inches, I guess. I have no idea how many inches this is. I don't know why I even said that. But I'm gonna cut a good amount, like an arm's length, a little more than an arm's length, because I wanna be able to adjust this to the size I want, and we're gonna be folding it in half. So obviously that eats up half the size, and then I have to glue it, and I always cut more than I think I'm gonna need, because I just think I've learned over time that that is a good idea. All right, so I'll get my ribbon out of the way, and I'm gonna turn him towards me because I want to see where it is actually centered. So I'm gonna pull my ribbon through the middle. Another string. And see how that looks. Ooh, I think it looks really good. All right, you guys, so this is how it's gonna go, the ribbon, how I'm gonna hang it. I am going to put the nicer side at the top. I'm gonna put this at the bottom, but I just wanted to make sure that this is where I want it. I'm not going to adhere this to the wreath itself. I'm just gonna leave it looped around, so then I'm covered in feathers. I'm just gonna leave it looped around, so then if it's not centered where I want it to be when I hang it up, I have the flexibility to position it how I want it. So again, we're going with the hot glue. I'm gonna line up my ribbon after I've pulled it through my wreath. I'm gonna pinch it in one spot, and I'm gonna fold one side down, okay? We want about an inch exposed, okay, like this. And I'm gonna put my hot glue on one side. Be so careful when you're doing this because it's hot. And I'm gonna fold the other side back. I'm gonna push them together. Don't squeeze it with your fingers right now because it's way too hot. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that, but glue guns are hot, people. Glue guns are hot. I feel like everyone forgets this at some point in their lives. I've forgotten, and I've been burned. So we're trying to avoid that. If you're making this with your kids and you're not using a safety glue gun, don't let them use the glue gun unless they're older. All right, now it's cooled down, so you can start to pinch it with your fingers. Just make sure that it's tight. And then what we're gonna do is, where that glue is, you can kind of feel it. It's a little thicker there. We're going to put some more glue in that same spot that we just folded onto each other. And then we're gonna fold that over. Onto our other pieces of ribbon. Again, this is hot. Don't squeeze it if it's has not cooled down yet. And then we'll just add glue to the other side of that as well, so that we kind of have a ribbon sandwich, and this guy won't be as prone to falling apart on us. Okay, so we're just gonna let that cool a bit. Pull off our hot glue strings. If you see any on your wreath, you can just get those. Fluff up your feathers while you're waiting for this to cool. And then after a couple of seconds, ooh, it's spilling out the side. Use too much. Any of you guys use too much hot glue? I do. All right, so that is nice and secure. It is barely pliable at this point, so it has all but cooled down. And I'm just gonna loop this through there. And realize that I have to do something else as I loop it through there. Okay, so when I looped it through, I saw, no, it's fine. This is fine, this is great, you guys. It came out so cute. What do you guys think? I really, really like it. All right, so I have my hanging tab on, and now all that I want to do is put my battery pack on the back. Okay. Again, we're going to use the hot glue and hope that it doesn't melt the dollar store battery pack holder. We're going to expose our wreath form on the back here. And boom. We're going to glue that on. It doesn't matter if this is straight or not, because no one is going to see this. Like I said before, the back of your wreath does not need to look pretty. And this is kind of going to bow it out from the door just a little bit, which will be kind of cute because the skull will just ever so slightly be looking up at you. All right, you guys, here we go. And here is our Halloween wreath for under $10. So it was $1 a piece for the boas. I got 3 boas. It was $1 for the lights. I got a set of lights. It was $1 for the skull. Got 1 skull. $1 for the form. Got 1 form. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6. Plus I had some ribbon at home, but if you did need to buy ribbon, you could get that at the Dollar Tree. And that would be another more $, $7. And if you don't have batteries, you can also get those at the dollar store. And that's another $1. That's $8. This is under $10, you guys. Thank you so much for crafting along with me. I really recommend you guys doing this. I had a great time. I'll be fiddling with it for hours like I always do after my crafts, but nothing's ever perfect. And as a goodbye to you guys, since I have to get up, go over there and turn off this camera, I'm also gonna turn the lights off as I go so that you guys can see how these lights look when it's dark. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name's Meg. This was Making It with Meg. I hope you guys tune in for some more. Bye, guys, and happy fall.